All right. Very interesting. So, Vision Pro is finally out, but I'm kind of wondering, for how long have they had this Vision? 2017, historically, we had the iPhone X. We got ourselves Face ID, meaning we have the dot protection and the reading of someone's facial features. Then, of course, later on with the iPhone 12 series, the 12 Pro, we got the LiDAR sensor on the back, meaning we now had dot projection for the rear camera. They advertised this for better autofocus and for improved AR experiences in apps. May 14th of 2020, Apple purchases virtual reality company Next VR. And just a few months following that, in August, on the 24th of 2020, they purchased the virtual conferencing company Spaces. Many people speculate that the original vision for this headset was a pair of fully AR glasses, much more streamlined and less reliant on virtual reality than the current version we see today. It seems as though the technology is still not ready for a couple of years. Now, this same report from Apple Track back in the day said that the more advanced version of those fully AR glasses would arrive sometime in 2022 or 23. So obviously this headset is a lot more advanced than anyone really could have guessed, and we're seeing just the first generation this year, not a second or third. Now, I can't compete with all the other content creators who get to fly out to WWDC and have their 30 minutes with the headset. Unfortunately, right now, I'm not as powerful as they are. Unless you subscribe, of course. However, I have had my own personal time with the Oculus Rift S and Quest 2, both of which became paperweights and were sold off. The iPod, the iPhone, the Mac, these were all innovations that slotted into someone's lifestyle or solved an actual problem they had. But the Vision Pro, who is it for exactly? Well, one area I want to focus on that they kind of glossed over in the presentation was 3D photos and videos. They marketed it as forever capturing family memories, and dear God, it looked dystopian as hell, but the technology behind it is something that I'm actually interested in. Being a photographer, I always want to look at what's next in the area of optics and electronics, and this looks like it might be it. If this becomes popular, and I'm not just talking about Apple's headset, I'm talking about the idea of consuming content in 3D in general, then 3D photos are going to be expected more, especially since this is now a headlining feature with the headset. You're not going to buy a 3D headset only to look at 2D photos. I mean, you can do that with any display. So when it comes to photography, which just by definition is 2D, how does it evolve? How do you make a camera that takes photos for 3D consumption? Apple's answer to this is the headset itself, equipped with 12 cameras, 4 of which look directly forward alongside their series of sensors and all of that stuff. You can take 3D photo and video. However, that's going to be cell phone quality, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. The contrary, Apple and Google, and sometimes Samsung, they produce extremely good equipment. But cell phones are still cell phones, and if they were actually good, then the standalone camera market wouldn't exist. To look for some answers, I turned to 3D technology, which already exists. Movies. And specifically, even Apple demoed one of the Avatar movies as a 3D experience for the people at WWDC.
What's unique about our 3D digital camera is that we use a fully integrated camera system where the lenses are interchangeable. We're not using a beam splitter rig, which makes our camera very compact. Our lenses literally come off as a stereo pair, whereas in a conventional beam splitter rig there are separate right eye and left eye lenses which would need to be realigned every time a lens change is made.
So after even just a little bit of skimming, I found a very cool video from IMAX, the company which produces famous film cameras. It was from 2014, it was about one of the Transformer movies, but they quickly showed off a digital camera that captured a 3D footage. Clearly two separate cameras, or sometimes, like in this case, it's two separate lenses, even though it came out as one unit. They were two elements of glass, and it captures stereoscopic images. That's exactly what Apple's Vision Pro headset does. You have multiple cameras separated, and that distinction gives you two separate video feeds that you can then beam to each eye. In the movie theater, sometimes they used 2 projectors, and that's how you would get depth perception. So if we are in fact nearing a future where no one has a phone or a watch or a computer, TV, everything is going to be replaced by one of these headsets, and it's probably not going to look like the horrendous Ready Player One headset that we see today. This is the first generation technology, but maybe something like Google Glass. And I know that's almost heresy to say, but like actual glasses. Something more akin to, I think it was Snapchat had some version of glasses that it was more streamlined. It looked more like a regular pair of shades. If that is the future, then all content is expected to have some form of 3D element to it. Are mirrorless cameras going to evolve to a future where they have 2 separate sensors, 2 separate lenses? Are lenses going to be 2 separate glass elements inside one container? Are we going to see the rise of APS-C as having 2 separate full-frame sensors is going to make cameras absolutely massive? Maybe even micro Four Thirds? Who knows? I definitely don't. But I'm interested in seeing what the future will entail. And I may need to buy a second camera. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Sorry if this was a bit short or messy. I don't have production value. Maybe you can change that. You know what to do. Alright, make sure to tune in to another video. See ya.